Bleeding a brake is a very easy task, but it is a matter of having the right tools for the job and the right methods. The things you'll need are a 2.5 millimeter Allen key to remove the pads from the caliper. You'll have to remove a little threaded pin. You'll want to take the pads out, and you'll likely want to use a 10 millimeter box wrench to press the pistons flush with the caliper body back into the system. A bleed block is helpful at the very start, pushing the pad in before you remove it. The other things you'll need are about 5.1 fluid from Avid and the necessary syringes. It's always good to have alcohol on hand as well in order to eliminate any excess dot fluid that has gotten on anything. Alcohol is a very handy friend of this. There's a good method for putting fluid into the syringe as well. Open the bottle. I like to dip the end of the hose right into the bottle and then slowly pull fluid into the syringe. There will be a bubble there, but we will get rid of that shortly. Wipe a little bit of that excess off. And I like to actually pull down on the rod of the syringe to get air in that far. That way you can eliminate any bubbles by pushing it all back up. You can see those bubbles exiting. Slowly fill it so the fluid goes all the way through that hose right up to the top until it just drips out, and then lock the syringe. You do the same process for the other hose, but you're only going to fill it just a little bit. And then of course the same process here. And we are done. Your syringe with the full fluid will want to be attached to the lower part, the caliper. You'll attach the short fluid syringe to the lever body. You want to bleed from the bottom to the top of the system. Now with the pads removed from the caliper and the pistons pressed all the way flush with the caliper, it's now time to begin the bleed. You'll open the locks on the syringes and begin to push the fluid from the bottom syringe from the caliper all the way up to the top of the lever, eliminating bubbles within the system and getting the contaminated, older, dirt-ridden fluid out of the system. You can see a couple of bubbles popping out there at the top. Give the lever a pull a couple of times. Try to make sure that all of the fluid within inside the lever is also being relieved of bubbles. When you have just a little bit of fluid left in the lower syringe, you'll want to close that off. Just lock it so it can't move anymore, and then lock the top. At that point, you have fresh fluid in the lines, and the bleed is complete. Now to take the syringes off, as long as you have one of them locked, the other will be able to be taken off without having fluid exit the system. Just as if you stuck your finger over a straw and kept the fluid in the straw. Same concept, it's a sealed vacuum. So I'll just unscrew the syringe from the caliper. And replace the threaded cap into the caliper body. That is now sealed. Now you'll do the same exact thing to the top syringe. Remove the syringe, just unscrew it. And again, it is sealed via the vacuum, so you can replace the little threaded cap into the lever body, just as you did on the caliper. And that's done. Now after the bleed is complete, it's very important to clean up any excess fluid that may have gotten on any of the components. So you want to just spray with an alcohol, rubbing alcohol, try to clean up any of those surfaces and get any of the excess fluid off. Do the same to the caliper body. It's really important to scrub nice on the inside, make sure that there's no fluid that could potentially get on your brake pads once everything is reinstalled, because you don't want to have to replace those pads either. Now we're done. So of course, if you're doing a bleed, you're going to have everything apart. It might be a good opportunity to inspect your brake pads for wear. That would be a good opportunity to replace the pad if necessary. It's also a good time to clean the rotor of any residue or dirt or grime that's potentially contaminated the rotor. To do that, just spray some isopropyl alcohol onto a rag and wipe the rotor down. It's nice and simple.